This is my 2013 Mercedes-Benz C-300 4MATIC, and I have had this vehicle for about 3 years now. I'm going to be telling you about how it's been over the calendar year 2024 for me, and why I still think this is the best daily driver you can buy for under 10 grand. Now let's get started with this. I spent less than $1,000 this year. We had one little hiccup with the vehicle. I had a bit of a leaky fuel line, so that plus an oil change was $463.89 Canadian. And then I also did a tire swap at the end of winter. That a little bit more pricey than I would have liked, but $208.44. That brings my grand total of repairs and general maintenance on this vehicle for calendar year 2024 to a total of $672.33 Canadian. Now, we've talked about this before. If you were to do the maintenance yourself, you'll be able to save some money. If you could do the oil changes, if you could do the tire swaps, you'll save money there. I don't have a second set of rims, so I do have to do an off-rim tire swap, and I haven't done it yet. So this is still on the all-season tires. You can see here there's really no snow, and now that this vehicle has been repatriated back to my house, it will be more of a daily driver over the next few months, as I will be taking a break from doing new car coverage here on Test Drive. I'm going to be doing some other stuff and showing you some different things that we can do here on the channel that doesn't involve new car reviews. So the car's been pretty reliable overall. I haven't really driven it too much, maybe 2,000 kilometers total, which I know is bad. It's pretty bad, but there's nothing worse than a car that sits. And this car has been pretty darn reliable for me, considering it will sit for 2, 3, 4 weeks sometimes even, without being moved, without being started. I'll get into it, fires up no problem, and I have really no issues with it. Now, when I say there's no issues with it, I mean it's functional, it works for me. I don't have anything on this vehicle as of right now that makes me wish I didn't have this car, but there are a couple things that will need to be done at some point. We discussed last year that the air conditioner was leaking on this. It didn't provide a full charge. I took it to a shop, they were able to charge it back up, but after about 6 months it was more or less empty again. So by law they had to drain the system. Parts for that, we've discussed it again, could be anywhere from about $700 to about $1,000 to replace pretty much everything that needs to be done with the AC unit, like every single part. So all of it would be new, and then you'd have labor. So it's like a couple grand, maybe a little bit more than that to do everything. It's pretty low on my list, just given how little I drive the car. One of the other issues with the vehicle, the driver's side mirror broke when I replaced the battery back in my first year of ownership. I just over voltaged it by having a brand new fresh battery, and it broke the pin that actually stops it from moving. So I've disabled it. I would like to replace that at some point so I can have the power folding functionality back. And then finally, the eco mode on this does not work. That's when you start the car up, you'll have a little yellow, in my case, eco light on the dashboard. It's supposed to be green. That's the auto stop start system. I don't really care. The vehicle doesn't really get to the point where it needs that, because I have only really been using this on the highway, so it doesn't really matter, but it is something that I should look at. Could be as simple as a fuse. It's just so far down my list of things that I care about, I haven't bothered with it because everything else works so good on it. I mean, I just enjoy driving this, and really the key selling factor, the reason why I say that this is one of the best cars that you can get in the used market right now, is just the overall reliability. There's pretty little to go wrong with it, and the things that do go wrong are straightforward enough. I mean, there aren't any fancy suspension components on the C300. It's a V6, naturally aspirated. Transmission can be a little iffy, but mine's been fine so far. I love it. So let's take it on the road and I'll talk about it a little bit more. You know, I forgot the most important thing that I need to get fixed on this vehicle is driver's seat bottom bolster. It's a pretty common problem on the non-leather seats. For the W204 Mercedes-Benz C-Class, even with low mileage models, you'll probably find some sort of tearing in the materials, just unfortunately how it goes. But I've been told, instead of getting it reupholstered or getting it fixed, you should just be able to buy the whole bottom. Just replace the entire thing, which certainly makes sense. It's what I did with my E38 BMW 7 Series back when I first bought that in 2015. That car is what kicked off this entire channel, and when I bought that, there's like a big, almost like a cigarette burn in the back of the driver's seat on the bolstering, so I was able to replace that. It was a little difficult, but hopefully it's a lot easier on a C-Class. Now, I was also going to mention the fuel efficiency on this vehicle. I only use premium, and that's something that you can decide if you want to use on a high mileage vehicle. The vehicle says that it's recommended to use premium, and I do. I use it on both this and the S-Class because, you know, high mileage, older vehicle, even though this is just a regular naturally aspirated V6, probably doesn't need it. It just makes me feel a little bit better knowing that I'm putting a little bit better fuel in here. Hopefully it'll help make the vehicle run a little bit better, a little bit more efficient, and last longer. That's the whole point. I mean, I would really like to get this to at least 250,000 kilometers to get my high mileage award from Mercedes-Benz Canada. But yes, back to the fuel efficiency. I completed my 100 kilometer test loop in this vehicle in 7.9 liters per 100 kilometers, which, you know, I mean, it's not terrible for a vehicle like this, for an older car with 234,500 kilometers on it. It's pretty good overall. Yeah, I was kind of taking my time getting home. It was the last day of me driving back from Mississauga for the next little while, so yeah, I kind of was enjoying the fact that it was not going to be happening every single Monday anymore. But yeah, I mean, fuel efficiency, not too bad overall. But, you know, again, we talked about this outside. I've talked about it on the previous videos, and I will continue to talk about it, that this car is just a solid daily driver. And I've been watching, you know, more views on these older videos on this car over the past year. People are interested in it. We've had tons of comments from people asking about how the car has been. They've been asking about advice on ones that they've been looking at. I mean, like I said, there's not a whole lot that goes wrong on this car. Yes, you could go with the C350, get a little bit more power. It's the same engine, but with the full tune on it. But the interior is going to be nicer, leather seats, controls for the seats on the doors where they should be. And, you know, you can option navigation, backup camera, blind spot monitoring, even though it was pretty iffy for this generation. I mean, all of those things could have been added to this vehicle. So maybe something like that will tickle your fancy. You can get an AMG if you're interested as well. The C63 AMG, we featured a W204 of that many years ago. You can check that video out too. So regardless of kind of what you're looking at, I have to say that this is one of the best used cars you can buy on the market. And look at it. It's simple. And that's what I love about these older cars. They're simple. There isn't a whole lot going on. I have a tiny screen. There's no navigation. There's no backup camera. Nothing to distract me. All I do is drive. I put the radio on. Okay, I don't have XM radio, but I have it on my phone. So I'll just do that over Bluetooth. And I drive. I focus on the road. It's super safe. So whether you're looking for a dependable daily driver for yourself, maybe you're looking at getting a car for your kid. It's their first car. You want something that isn't going to distract them as they're driving around. This could be a good option. Plus, there's not like a ton of space in the back seats, so you don't have to worry too much about them loading it up with all their friends and going out partying. So it's a pretty solid vehicle, pretty solid choice overall. I mean, I have zero regrets of buying this. It's probably one of the best vehicle decisions I've made, just because it works. And I know I'm not driving too much on it. That's my fault, but we're gonna see how much I can do over the next few months. Even then, it's still gonna be kind of like the second vehicle backup car, so it's still not gonna get a ton of mileage on it, but it will certainly get more than it has over the last 12 months. Now, as always, we do get back to everybody in the comments. If you have any questions about this vehicle, please let me know. I will get back to you as quickly as I can. As I said, 3 years now that I've had this, I'm pretty familiar with it. I'm pretty comfortable being able to talk about my experiences with it. If you want to know how the maintenance and repairs have been in the previous updates we've done, I would go and check those out. They are linked in the video. You can go in the top right corner. They will have popped up as cards. We'll also have 2 of them at the end of the video. But we do this every roughly 6 months or so to give you an update on how our personal vehicles are going. So stay tuned for more videos on this, and I do plan on doing some stuff here during the winter. So as I said, we get back to everybody in the comments. If you would like to see something specific about this vehicle in the winter, please let me know. My plan, get the winter tires installed very soon, and then once we have a good snowstorm here in southwestern Ontario, I will be taking this on the road and telling you how it performs, because it is excellent with a good set of winter tires. But as always, we appreciate you watching, and until next time, take care.